Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be taking another look at the Funky Fossil Designs products that I got part of the Card Maker of the Year competition. And today we're going to be creating a card with this stencil. This is called Fishy. And then we've got this stamp set and this is called Let's Party. So today's card we are creating a square card. This is 5 3/4 square. And what I wanted to do was to stencil our fishy design into the center of our card, and then we're just going to stamp and color a few of these images here from the stamp set. So what I've already done just to prepare is I've created a mask myself. This is just out of some really basic white cardstock. And I've die cut a circle from the center of this, so I just worked out exactly where I wanted this shape to be on my card, because I'm going to be inking directly onto the card base today, not kind of adding an additional panel. So what I'm going to do is just open up my card. So I want to make sure that my stencil is kind of roughly in the center. And when I'm happy that I've got that down, I'm just going to use some pieces of washi tape just to hold this kind of mask in place. Then what I'm going to do is take my stencil and I'm just going to lay this directly over the top, and again I'm just going to use some more washi tape to hold then this stencil in place. And that is just going to give us a masked off area where then our stencil is only going to go through this circle bit. So the colours of ink I'm going to be using today, so we've got Distress ink in the Broken China, and then I've got my Prism in the Periwinkle. So I wanted kind of a dark and light colour here, and I'm going to be taking one of my Funky Fossil Design blending brushes to ink our stencil. So I'm going to start off with my periwinkle colour, and what I'm going to do is just pick different spots just to do some ink blending here. So we're going to do just some areas of this lighter colour first of all, just so we can get something a little bit more interesting. Then I'm going to come in with my Broken China, and I'm just lightly going to come in and kind of blend that colour around that periwinkle. And this is just going to create a nice interesting background. So let's come back in with that periwinkle just to add a little bit more. And then we can kind of darken up that Broken China colour as well, because I do want to have some sort of harsher lines in there as well. Again, I just want to create something more interesting, just from something that's going to be quite basic. So let's just finish off with that little corner and just kind of around the edge. So let's now take off our stencil. So I'm happy with how that is looking, so I can remove my stencil fully, and then I'm going to remove my mask as well. So you can keep this as well, so you could cut this from something different that would be a little longer lasting. Like I said, this is just regular kind of printer paper. I think it's about 80 GSM, so it's super thin, but yeah, for something like this the dye ink is going to just soak into that paper. It's not going to sit on the surface, so you can use that again. And there we have our card base with our blended background. So again, it's just creating something sort of nice and easy. So I do feel like that is just a little white. So what I'm actually going to do is bring my circular mask back in. I'm really carefully going to kind of line this back up. Let's pop our washi tape back down. And then I'm going to come in with a little Arctic mist here. And we're just going to do some really light blending over our stencil, just to kind of add a little bit of colour to that background. So let's take up our mask and take a look at that now. So it just gives it a little bit more definition, I think, and just having that little bit of colour behind, I think that just finishes that really nicely. So I'm just going to leave that to one side and we can get started stamping our images. So I've got a piece of scrap white cardstock here. Then I think I'm going to stamp our kitty that is wearing the really cute hat. We are going to have, of course, our cake. And I'm going to stamp this and we can see whether we end up using it or not. So let's make sure that's in the side. Let's just pick up our images. Going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm just really carefully going to just press this down. And this quality of these stamps are really, really fantastic as well. Out of the ones that I've used so far, I've literally not had any problems. I've not felt like, you know, the quality hasn't been there. I just think they're brilliant. And I'm just going to come in with my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois and we can just clean those stamps right up. So there we've got our stamped images. So what I'm going to do is just play some music while I use my alcohol markers to colour in these really lovely images. So I coloured in all of these and I have just fussy cut them so we've got a nice little white border around, and I just think these are so cute. I think these are going to be perfect for any card, whether you know you're a cat lover, whether you've got a cat, or just generally for quite a quirky birthday card. I think this is going to be perfect. I've also added just some simple white gel highlights to it as well, because I think that's just going to, with such a simple design, it's just going to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so now we can pop our card together. So I've already started putting some foam tape onto the back of my cat here. So I've just taken some regular foam squares and I've just cut them in half. So I'm gonna just add one last one to the tail, because I do want to make sure that I get this on nicely. And I am as well just gonna add some of these onto our banner. So again, I'm just gonna cut these in half just to make sure that they fit on there. So let's bring our card back. We're just gonna glue down our birthday cake here just with some Lawn Fawn glue. I don't need that bit to be kind of propped up. So let's just get that one down. Let's take the backing off our banner here. So then I'm gonna pop my banner just there at an angle. Okay, then we can add our cat. We're just gonna very slightly overlap that with our cake. So all this needs now is just a sentiment. So in our stamp set we've got two. We've got Let's Party and Big Birthday Wishes. So I'm gonna bring back my Misty. I'm gonna pop just a strip of scrap black cardstock in here, and we're gonna heat set this with some white embossing powder. So we have got our heat set sentiment just there. So we're gonna add a foam strip just to the back of this. Again, just to give it that little bit of dimension. So let's add our sentiment just down here at the bottom. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just add a few Nouveau drops. And I think I'm going to do these in the black ebony. So there's our finished card for today's video. So this was using the Let's Party stamp set and then that Fishy Stencil. We finished these off with just some black ebony Nouveau drops, and I really love how this has come out. The kind of design is quite simple, and we've just got sort of quite a basic card, considering there isn't sort of too many layers. Obviously we've ink blended directly onto our card base, and then we've just coloured and fussy cut out our images, and I just love all those bright colours, and I think that cat is really, really adorable. So that is going to be it for this video. If you did like it, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so you don't miss out on any future videos. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.